Hi there. Welcome to Zoom In with OAG. We are here today to demystify framing, and to help us we have Amy Orrick from Amy's Frames. Welcome, Amy.
Oh, thank you, Anna.
So tell us a bit about your background. How did you start out? How did you get into framing? Because obviously it's a passion for you, so it's
Yes.
infectious.
Absolutely. Anything to do with art. I originally studied at the Pretoria Technikon. I did my art diploma through them. The art courses which they offer, you can branch out into graphic design or many different forms. I chose interior design. I always liked design. I liked anything spatial, working with my hands, and I did exhibition design. Yes, so my first job was for museum services. I worked for 5 years as an exhibition designer, and I loved it. There I came into contact with their restoration and conservation department, and I became very interested in artworks, works on paper, painting, everything which goes behind an actual artwork. What is good, how you handle or care for works, how you conserve them. And in my free time I became a retoucher. I used to work with photographic images on paper, and I belonged to a group in those days called SAPCON, which is the South African Conservation Group. They unfortunately no longer exist.
No.
But through them we did many workshops on just interesting topics, on artworks, works on paper. It was very educational. Came into contact with many wonderful people, the Brentest Library, their conservation department, and so my love and passion for art has always been around. After I stopped working for museum services, I did a lot of private work for photographers, retouching work. Initially old school, airbrush by hand, directly onto negatives. And then when Photoshop came out, I was probably one of the first people who used Photoshop privately before everybody did work in-house. And one of the photographers I worked for started with framing as well, and that's how I was introduced to framing.
Yeah, it's like a natural progression from the restoration to that, and obviously your love for art and restoring. You also have a second-hand bookshop.
That is correct.
So it sort of all ties in together.
I've bought and sold art, bought and sold books, and of course art books, anything on artists, anything which helps to increase one's knowledge on art and the art line has always just been a passion.
Having this framing shop is actually like having your own art gallery.
It is.
All the best works coming in and out all the time.
Well, the funny idea was when I started framing, I had these wonderful ideas. I was going to frame my own work.
Yeah.
It never happened. I never produced another artwork. I started by framing works for friends. I wanted to offer an affordable option for artists, and it became word of mouth, and before I knew it I had a full-time business.
Oh, wonderful. That is really one of the things, because sometimes framing is just so expensive that people refrain from it, and then the artworks just stack up as opposed to being displayed. So that's actually one of the first things. That's how I heard of you. I heard if you want excellent framework done at an affordable price, contact Amy. So
Absolutely.
yes, I'm really glad that I found you. So what we're going to do is maybe you can help me choose a frame or two today for some artworks, and then we can show the people that it's really not that intimidating or difficult or expensive to choose a beautiful frame.
Yes, and you can always, the framer you use, you can always discuss it with them. There are always different options for framing, less expensive, more expensive. It really does depend on what you choose. I mean, wooden profiles can be, solid wood profiles can be expensive, and they're excellent synthetic alternatives. But there's always something to fit someone's pocket or budget. You don't only have to go for expensive stuff.
Okay, so let's go have a look.